Hey guys, this is the BYD Atto 3. Fun fact, this in China was called the BYD Yuan, which is their currency. So imagine like Proton calling their car the Proton Ringgit, right? This is the extended range version for 168,000 ringgit, okay? So you get a 60 kilowatt hour battery, over 400 kilometers of range, and it is the most hype EV to enter Malaysia so far. Let's find out why. The BYD Atto 3 isn't really trying too hard to look different or futuristic. It looks like a normal B-segment SUV. You might notice little things, like at the front, the grille is all covered up. There's no actual airflow inside to cool an engine. The wheels are kind of funky. In fact, the wheels are wearing 18 inches on Atlas Batman tires, which we saw on the launch, which I'm surprised actually like carried through to the launch car. And from the side, you can't really tell. Over there, the scales kind of match up with the whole aquatic theme that BYD has, because their cars are called the Dolphin, the Seal, yeah, those two. And I guess maybe Atto means fish. I have no idea actually. The backside as well has no real distinguishing features among other cars really, except for the fact that it has an EV badge. So you're sure it's an EV. So guys, like I said, the car itself isn't that much to look at. It's quite a stealth in the sense that you don't really know it's an EV until you get up close, but it looks objectively good. At the back, of course, it says EV over here. I'm not a fan of this build your dreams, but then people won't know otherwise what BYD means. I like the fact that the key fob is hefty and solid. Also, that it only has, instead of actually like having to long press to open the boot, I just click twice. It just does it. It's easy. And the boot, speaking of which, is 440 liters, which is pretty big for a B segment of this size. So we have the boot open, 440 liters, doesn't look like much, but the thing is you can actually have either a flat floor or more space. Great. Now the inside. So the interior is really where BYD really wants to wow you. It's quite obvious, there's so much going on here, the colors and the patterns and the materials and everything. It feels very high-tech and it feels well put together, really, really well put together. It's not a gimmick. I mean, it might seem like a gimmick first, but actually, you can tell it's well thought out. This whole thing where the door handle actually kind of hinges in the speaker here seems like a gimmick. But then you realize, you put your hand over here, it's got a natural place to open the door. It's great. Over here, you have the gear selector, very, very obvious. You have a lot of attention to detail over here. The start button is very intricate, and it just feels like a good place to drive. I can't fathom the 12.8 touchscreen over here because it's huge. They make a big fuss about it being able to do this. So you can have portrait mode or, you know, landscape. You can even have a button on the steering wheel to press and do the same thing. The air conditioning vents are all like this. BYD says the entire interior, the aesthetic of it, is inspired by gyms and fitness culture. Which, you tell me, is this fitness culture for you? It's more like aquatic fitness culture because it's very blue. All this attention to details, this synthetic leather material is very, very comfortable. The patterns and the stitching, it feels, okay, I'm not gonna name names, but it feels so much better executed than a certain other high profile from China EV that entered Malaysia by the same time. Check it out. I mean, like, think of the front, right? You have this, you know, guitar motif over here, strings, plenty of storage space. The seats themselves in front are very sporty, kind of like body hugging, a lot of bolstering going on. And you close the door, front and back, you can tell that this is really solid. It's not going to move, it's not going to deteriorate after a few years. The floor is completely flat because of BYD's Blade battery, a slimmer profile. It's well thought out, like I said. I'm not a fan of the BYD design and all this other stuff on the headlights, like it says BYD Tech. Not a fan of that. The sunroof, this panoramic sunroof, is I guess a gimmick. It's a wow factor thing, right? But it does do its job because it brings so much more light and space and airiness to the back seats, which is really comfortable. Like I'm sitting right now over here, where I'm sitting in front. A lot of leg room, a lot of headroom, even with the glass roof above me. Comfortable. It's comfortable. I get my own USB-A and USB-C. These funky air conditioning vents. Yeah, cup holders. Nice, it's nice, guys. For 167k, this is the nicest by far EV for the money. So guys, what do we think about the BYD Atto 3 behind the wheel? The thing is, inside here, you can't help but be kind of mesmerized by all the stuff going on over here in the interior. You have so many materials, so many finishes. The plastic itself, okay, most of it is plastic, none of it's really metal, right? But I have no complaints about that because it feels like it belongs. It feels like high quality plastic. In fact, I know the synthetic material, the seats itself, none of it's real, none of it's metal or leather or whatever, it's all synthetic, but it feels high quality. And then you have the finishing. The seats are perforated, the bolstering is very nice, the seat design is very nice. There's some things that of course I can complain about, like the air conditioning vents over here. It doesn't feel great. It's solid, but it doesn't feel great. It's kind of like, yeah, it's fine. It might be actually metal because it's actually cold to the touch. Anyway, inside here, I haven't really bonded with this car in terms of like behind the wheel experience, you know, because this car is a fantastic point-to-point vehicle, and that's why I think for many families, for many people who don't really care about the car being I don't know, like a fun object for you, a fun outlet for you, this is perfect because it's not. It's very comfortable. The insulation is great. The suspension is very pliant and very conforming to the road. You barely feel anything, and the thing is, that's hard to do. It's harder to do in an EV because you feel every single bump, you hear every single, you know, wind buffeting, tire roar. You hear all that. The powertrain, okay? This has a 201 or 204, 200-ish PS electric motor, single electric motor up front, driving the front wheels with 310 Newton meters of torque. So that's quite a lot for a B segment SUV or B segment whatever this is crossover. And you know, it's pretty sufficient. That's about as much as you get with the Kona Electric, the Max. And that was more playful than this. I'm on sport mode right now. I forgot about it because it's so wooden, it's so numb behind the wheel. The powertrain is responsive. It's electric, so you know, you accelerate, you get response and everything. It's all there, but you just don't feel the involvement. It's premium feeling at 167,000 ringgit. That it feels 9/10 as premium as the Mazda CX-30 that I was driving not very long ago for a lot less money, and it can go very far compared to the Mazda. The Mazda can only go 199 kilometers in the best of times. This, the extended range BYD Atto 3 can go, well, it can go like WLTP 450 kilometers on a single charge. That's pretty impressive. That's enough to make you not really worry, especially if you kind of, you know, go back and forth in the office and in your home. You go buy groceries, you go pick up people. You stay within the confines of, let's say, Greater KL, and if you live in KL, that's fine. That's completely, you can completely replace your normal car with the BYD. Something I can't say about the Mazda, something I can't say about the Mini SE, the Cooper SE. And the fact that this is a Chinese-made car has no bearing on what I'm experiencing right now because this feels like a high-quality product. I like this car, I just haven't bonded with it. With the Mazda, it was easy to bond with because it was flawed. But can I say, is it fair to criticize this car as being a little bit sterile? You know, despite all the flourishes and design stuff, a little bit sterile to drive as an experience because it's so good everywhere else? Is it fair to criticize the car for being too good? I mean, like, on paper, too good? Like, it ticks all the boxes good? I don't know if that's fair. You guys tell me in the comments below, but, you know, for me right now, I can totally recommend this car for anybody that wants to find a all-round, very well-resolved EV. So guys, that was about 4 or 5 days spent with the BYD Atto 3. Is it worth the hype? Is it justified? I think so, because this is a really well assembled, well specified, and well thought out car. It might be that this is the main car that would actually change all of our opinions on, cars from China and also cars that are EV from China, because this is so well thought out. It looks good, it's priced right. It's reliable because it's actually BYD. Right now, it is the biggest EV manufacturer in the world. So now it's Malaysia, it's really good things for the EV market here.